Formula One has been expanding in the past couple of years to the point of it actually becoming a problem, and the president of the sport having to offer solutions when it comes to the circuits on European ground. Right now there are tons of tracks who are out of contract in 2025, and it seems like there could be a scenario in which we're going to see biannually showings, according to Domenicali. But with the latest extension of Monaco, is the sport proving that they still hold their traditional values over money? It's safe to say that Formula One's expansion in these lengths is something that we could have only imagined a couple of years ago, especially in America, where we're racing on 3 circuits and with the potential of 2 more, Chicago and New York, being added to it. Nevertheless, there is some growing disharmony when it comes to this that we need to focus on, and that's the fact that the calendar can consist of only so many races, and with both the FIA and F1 adamant that the current number of 24 races is sufficient, there comes a time where you have to think about which track will be dropped now that Madrid is entering the sport from 2026 onwards, and a lot of talks are held with Rwanda as well. This is why Domenicali believes that there could be a scenario in which the F1 caravan can rotate between races when in Europe and visit them biannually, or more precisely visit the one circuit at one racing season and then the other one that would be in the contract will be visited in the following one. Right now the rumour has it that one of the Italian GPs will rotate with Zandvoort because Spa is very unlikely to be dropped from the calendar, even in this manner, due to the revolt it would cause among the fans. And when addressing this situation, Domenicali said, "We have some news to share very soon with regard to the possibility in the midterm to have some rotational European Grand Prix and some other new options coming later. This is something that, of course, we will clarify in the due course. It is true that we have a large demand of new possible venues that want to come in, and our choice will always be balanced between the right economic benefits that we can have as a system and also to leverage the growth on the market that we can see potential that will be beneficial for us to grow our business even further." You could easily understand the frustration among the F1 fans, because not only is the calendar expanding, but it's also going on street circuits and tracks that are not really suitable for Formula One machinery. This will be a massive hit for the sport's popularity because the fans are not liking what they are seeing, and it will definitely make a huge dent in the popularity and the watchability of the sport. However, the interest is growing, and when money talks, there is not much that we can do other than listen, and in this case even returning to Africa and racing in Rwanda is putting more pressure on the traditional tracks in Europe to hold their ground. When addressing this situation to a greater extent, Domenicali continued, "We believe that the balance we have in terms of numbers is the right one, so 24 is the balanced number that we feel is right. I do believe that all the propositions that are coming on our table are just giving the possibility to make even better choices for our future, so as always we need to be balanced, knowing that we cannot follow only the pure direct financial proposition because that is different from region to region, but it's up to us to propose to our stakeholders the right choice. I think we are in a good momentum to make sure that the strategy for the future is even stronger, and that's why we are so confident about the fact that this will help us to enhance our platform on the sport from a social and business perspective." If we are to look at this chart, we could see which tracks have the greatest possibility to be replaced or switched through on a biannual basis, and the majority of them are on European ground. Again, the sponsorships are playing a huge role here because there have been talks about how the Dutch GP has struggled to gather enough money to support the race itself, and if it's not for Verstappen and his popularity as well as his current dominance, the race itself won't be nearly as interesting and anticipated as we would think. That's something we can only guess, and whether it's the reality of things or not, time will tell. One thing that needs to be fixed as soon as possible, though, is the situation between the Spanish GP that is currently held in Barcelona, because with the addition of the Madrid GP from 2026 onwards, the Catalunya GP has been put under a huge question mark. The Spanish government has been adamant that their budget is not big enough to support 2 races in 1 year, which means that if we go racing here in Madrid, it will very likely be at the end of Barcelona, as the track could continue to be used as a testing circuit only, or maybe it would rotate with another one. To believe that it could rotate with Madrid, though, is not going to happen, because this is a race that has gathered a lot more sponsors and revenue for the sport before it even started, although there were talks that there were some issues on this end in the past couple of months, but everything seems to be under control now. A good thing for the hardcore F1 fans is that one of the most legendary circuits in the world, Monaco, has extended its deal until 2031, and to make matters better for the motorsport lovers, it won't be the same weekend as the legendary Indianapolis 500 race in the IndyCar Championship. When talking about the Monaco expansion, Domenicali was full of praise to the Prince of Monaco, and it was very proud that they were able to reach a deal that will keep this gem on the calendar for quite some time, amid talks that the lack of excitement and on-track overtaking are taking away the joy from the race itself. Furthermore, Domenicali said, "I am delighted that Formula One will continue to race in Monaco until 2031. The streets of Monte Carlo are unique and a famous part of Formula One, and the Monaco GP remains a race that all drivers dream of winning. I would like to extend a special thanks to Prince Albert of Monaco, Michel Bowery, President of the Automobile Club of Monaco, and everyone involved in the extension of this important partnership." However, the situation hasn't drastically changed for the other circuits, and they will definitely feel the pressure to do something to attract sponsors, because obviously the fans and the drivers loving the traditional circuits is not enough for this sport to keep them on the track. When Liberty Media took over in 2017 and amassed huge popularity and a cash influx into the sport, it was clear that they unlocked levels they could have only dreamt of. Unfortunately, those came at a great expense, and in this situation, it's the money factor. For example, we must mention that there is a brand new circuit that is being built in Saudi Arabia, in the dream city of Qiddiya, but the ultimate goal for the sport is to return racing in Africa, and it seems like the fast-growing country of Rwanda has all of the ingredients needed in order to make it work, which is why it received a lot of praise from Domenicali. The president of the sport, similar to Hamilton, wants to have an influence here as well. And while talks in countries like Thailand and Indonesia are slowly but surely falling apart because of various reasons, the same cannot be said for Rwanda. When talking about the seriousness of this situation and how important it is for the sport to be present on the African continent, Domenicali said, "We want to go to Africa, but we need to have the right investment and the right strategic plan. Rwanda are serious. They have presented a good plan, and actually we had a meeting with them. The race will be on a permanent track. We need to have the right moment, and we need to make sure that also in that country, in that region, in that continent, there is the right welcoming, because of course they have other priorities. We need to be always very careful in making the right choices." With all this in mind, the calendar changes have definitely got a lot of people talking, but with Monaco standing its ground, do you think that the rest will follow suit, or do you think that the remainder of the races will be able to pull sponsors just for the sake of the roots of the sport? Let us know in the comments below, and if you're interested in Hamilton's new test that has been agreed with Ferrari, check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.